Hello and welcome to another episode of Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Lokko podcast. We are also audio in this and we're also filming this. Now you guys know I just started a few weeks ago video recording the podcast. But we still want you to watch the television talk show. We still want you to read our magazine. We just want to bring you more visibility and get a connection with who you are dealing with and who you are talking to. Well, we've been in a season of talking about your secret identity. We've talked about how we lost our identity. We talked about how our parents create an identity for us, how our teachers create identities for us, how the world in general just create identities for us. And I've told you guys, I said I'll have people on the podcast. Now, you know I interview people on the television talk show that bring interesting topics and things that are relevant in the world today that we need to discuss. And you know I am not afraid to tackle the hard stuff. Yes, we talk about the hard stuff. We talk about the hard issues because they need to be talked about. We're living in a time where it does not need to be taboo. We need to understand who we are and who we are navigating through all the junk and mess that is going on. And I want you to discover that right here with Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Lokko. Today, I have a guest with me, and we're just going to talk about some issues with losing your identity and becoming something that someone else wanted you to be. And I think we've all done it in our lives. I know I have. And I just wanted a guest on here with me today. And she's a dear friend of mine. And we talk about this stuff all the time. And we've known each other for many, many, many years. So I would say that she's someone that knows and watched me grow. She's watched me fail. She's watched me succeed. She watched me go through a lot of things. We've been through so much together that she could honestly probably be the one that tells you that through it all in all, we always come out on top. We do. We just always do, because when you're authentic to who you are and when you discover who you are inside, now it's a journey. You may not know the fullness of it, of who you are, but it's a journey. It's a process that you take day by day. Last week, I asked you guys to challenge yourself and really look at the relationships that you're in and ask yourself that if you had discovered who you were already, would you choose that person as a friend? Would you choose that person as a spouse? Would you choose your job? Would you choose where you live if you were walking in who you were called to be? And I know that answer somewhat because some of the things that I chose in my life was based on the person that I was being and not the person that I was created to be. And that's why a lot of time we're miserable on our jobs. We're miserable in our marriages. We're miserable being friends with certain people. There's just things that happen because they're not on the same plane with us. And that's not bad. That's not saying anything bad about them. That's just saying we need to learn to align with who we are called to be. Well, Peggy, I thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So what do you think about our identity and how we handle our identity? Well, what about you? What struggles have you had with kind of discovering who you are or not understanding that you were not supposed to be that person? Talk about that.
Well, I'm still learning who I am. It seems like growing up.
Come over so the camera can get you.
Sorry.
We're recording live too.
All through our lives, we're told who we're supposed to be. When we're kids, you're told, no, you're not supposed to do that because that's not ladylike, or that's not the way you're supposed to be, or, the world's, or they don't like that, or that's not, that's not what people like, or that's not what they expect you to be. But you're never told that how your how would I put it? You're never told, how to think or how to live to be the person that you're called to be, or how to live or to be or to think to be successful, or to be to
I know you're looking for that word.
Yeah. What am I saying? To be positively influenced.
Yeah, and be yourself.
Yes.
But I think because a lot of time the people that are talking to us, they're just repeating what someone else has told them, and it becomes a perpetual cycle of everybody being cloned.
Yeah.
And everybody being carbon copy.
Yeah. I mean, you only know what you've been taught. So, and they, like when I was growing up, my mom only taught me, she didn't teach me how to be a successful woman as far as being a businesswoman or anything of that nature. She taught me, well, be a good girl, don't do anything wrong, be good, be nice, don't ruin your name, go to school, get married, settle down, find a good husband, and she taught me how to be a housewife, because in her day and age, because she grew up during the Depression, so that's what her mom knew, so that's what she taught me, so that's what she knew. So that's what she taught me, but I knew that there was more to it than just being a mom and a housewife. So I really didn't have anything to go on. Right. So I didn't have any kind of anybody to to lean on or to influence me other than my teachers, but all they taught you was what they learned from their professors when they were going to college, was to study and learn and go to school. They didn't really, tell you what to do or how to go about doing it other than that. So,
that's what we learn.
Yeah,
And it's sad because it's like we each as individual got some amazing talents and amazing gifts.
So they don't teach you how to tap into that.
No, because they don't know how.
Yeah,
and
right.
Plus, it doesn't fit when people...
So you bend over backwards to please people, to be what you think they want you to be, but all along you're miserable.
Yes.
Trying to please everybody else to fit into these puzzle pieces or cookie cutter shapes that you think the world expects you to be, and all along you're absolutely positively miserable trying to bend yourself into all these shapes and forms that you, in all actuality, you wasn't meant to be in.
And they're actually miserable too, because everybody's trying to fit into this puzzle piece together, and it's just not working. And we see firsthand, look at what's going on in the world. We totally see that it is definitely not working.
No.
It is definitely not working. I do want to encourage parents, and that's another thing that I did challenge you guys with last week. I had told you to monitor your kids. I did ask you not to spank them or whoop them if possible. If possible. Now, coming from me, that is really just absurd, because I believe in punishing kids when they need to be, corrected or whatever. But I asked you not to do that because I wanted you to see these two things. If you were punishing them for something that's naturally a gift, because a lot of times that's what's happened to us. We've been punished for things that are actually a natural gift or actually a call to, and we suppress those things because we're told that we'll get punished for using them, and we don't use them, and then we show up in the world without using those gifts and talents, and now we're a mess. We're just an emotional mess. We're a mental cave, all kinds of stuff, because we've been so oppressed and so choked by being punished for using our natural gifts.
My mom, when I became a mother, my mom used to tell me, don't spank them, just talk to them. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you've gotten soft.
Yeah, we clearly got spanking.
You really got soft, And she was like, no, I haven't. And I'm like, you didn't talk to me when I was growing up. You whooped my tail if I did something wrong. And she's like, no, it's different. And I'm like, no, you know, their butt's made just like my butt.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I understand what she meant. You know, I wasn't really thinking about it then because I was, you know, obviously younger, but I get it now, you know. But I always explain to my kids, you know, what they did wrong. And, you know, I'd ask them, do you know why you're getting, you know, your butt popped?
Because I said so.
You know, no.
Because I said so.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, that too, but still. But I would always explain to them, do you know, or talk to them before I would punish them, do you know why you're in trouble? Do you know what it was that you did that was wrong? And why you're getting, you know, why you're going to the corner or why you're going into, you know, timeout or whatever. And or why you're getting a spanking. And they would be like, no, or they'd tell me yeah, and if they said yes, I would have them explain to me why, you know. And
so they got double punished because they did it knowingly. No.
Well, if they did, yeah, but not, and you know, and if they didn't, then I would explain to them, you know, why they're getting in trouble. You know, I just didn't spank them without, you know, explaining to them what they did was wrong.
Right.
You know, and excuse me, and
but ask yourself, was it really wrong? And that's, I think that's kind of the point.
Okay, well, prime example. Okay, my son took, Christmas time, my son took, my mom got my son these little monster truck and a monster beetle car, and you push it back and it rolls by itself. Okay, well, my daughter, Heaven, took one of them from my son, and she took off running across the house and wouldn't give it back to him. And so I made her give it back to him, or she went in his room and took it from him because he was in there playing with it. And so I made her give it back to him. And so he picked up the beetle as she was going out the room and cracked her in the head with it.
Well, I would say that was defending your
And
property,
well,
but I don't want to promote sibling rivalry.
So yeah, that was wrong. So yeah, so he got, I mean.
Yeah, that wasn't a gift. That was truly defending
Right.
his grounds
So
and his
yeah,
property.
he got his butt popped for hitting her in the head twice because he caught her in the front of the head and the back of the head because he caught her as she was coming in the door and caught her as she was going out.
So did she get a spanking? Because she actually, in all actuality, I'm not promoting sibling rivalry, but she actually was the culprit.
Yeah.
She, you know, she came in, she stole from him his property in his room, so she was trespassing.
She got
to
her
his defense.
Yeah, I mean, well, she got her butt popped for taking his stuff, and he got his hands popped for throwing the cars and hitting her with them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then I made them hug each other and tell each other that they were sorry.
And they probably both wanted to throw the Tonka trucks at you at that point.
Probably, yeah, but still. But I get what she was saying about, you know, don't spank them, talk to them, you know, so that they would understand and all this. So I get that, you know. But the thing is, at one point in time in our lives, somebody should have sat down and talked to us.
But they couldn't if they didn't know what to
they
talk.
would. Yeah, true.
They didn't.
But
I wished I would have got more talking to than spankings because you know that was, hey, I'm traumatized by spankings.
Yeah,
you know?
but I mean, but we all have done in our lives that we have bent over backwards and twisted ourselves and morphed ourselves into something or somebody that we either our spouse, our boyfriend, our family, our bosses, our co-workers, you know, our friends, you know, somebody that was close to us in some shape, manner, or form that, you know, that was close to us or whatever, that we thought they wanted us to be.
Yeah. Well, that's what they thought we should be.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I just challenge all of our listeners, our viewers, you know, don't do that. We've got to learn to stop it now, because with my grandchildren now, I'm really not as quick to whoop. My daughter looks at me like, well, we could have never, and she says it all the time, well, we can't do that. You let these kids get away with too much. Matter of fact, you let everybody else's kid get away. You just, what's going on with you? And I was like, because I've learned that I look at my grandkids, and some of the stuff that I would have normally punished them for, it's actually, I see it's a battle for them. It's a battle between their gifts and trying to be what we're telling them to be. And so I'm kind of a little lenient, but you know, I do love the belt, you know, and I do love my hand, and then some things, yeah, you have to just deal with it. But then there's some things we have to really caution ourselves, because I've discovered, and just by doing a lot of research, that a lot of people have emotional issues, not because of something they saw, but because of the type of punishments that they received.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And it's like, you're punishing me for something. Then another thing is, you're punishing me for something that I learned in the home, and it was clearly active in the home, but I'm getting punished for that. How is that right? And so it's just a lot of stuff. With this bold and unique lifestyle that we're living, we really, really want you to flow in your gift, in your calling. We want you to understand that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. That means that you were made by hands that were incapable of making mistakes. So you're not a mistake. You have your own fingerprint. You have your own way of thinking. And I think it's just so amazing that we can mimic each other, everybody in the world, across all races, all nations. It doesn't matter. We can mimic. But the one thing that we cannot actually do is understand our thoughts, because we can't hear our personal thoughts unless we express them out. And I think that a lot of people live in that because it's something private. It's something that they can hide in, and they're daydreaming, their imagination. People used to get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're daydreaming. You're imagining again. Well, how do you know what I'm thinking? Just because I'm not speaking it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. And so I encourage daydreaming, and I encourage, thinking.
Because that's where your ideas come from.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's where where you're, and what's the word I'm looking for? Not inventions, but
just creative ability.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's just say, we'll just use creative ability. It is, and it is something else. And we need to enhance that. We need to look at our children. Now, since I told you not to spank them, y'all knew me. Y'all know that if I'm telling you not to spank them, it's safe to say, don't spank them. Try to figure another way out for this week. Just this week, I just told you, just that week that just passed, because I wanted you to sit down and look and see what you were punishing them for that was actually their gifts. That's what I wanted you to see. And I had 2 people send me an email saying that, and one of the ladies' name was Roberta, and she's from Arizona, and I have a huge following in Arizona. Don't know where they came from, but okay, hello Arizona and then Roberta. But anyway, she said that I got in trouble for this myself. She was spanking her kid because every time he would be talking, he wouldn't shut up. And my mom laughs because she's like, you did that. Well, I still do that. I get in trouble for talking all the time. But she realized that is a gift of his, that at some point he will use his voice. And then we had another gentleman call in. His name was Todd. Well, emailed in. His name was Todd, and he was like, he's unsure. It could be used as a gift, but he said he don't think his child is using it for a gift. He thinks he's using it to torture him. I'm like, okay, we'll have to see. Just nurture it and see how it goes. Just, nurture it and see how it goes.
I used to get in trouble all the time in school for talking. Because, I mean, there was things in school that it didn't challenge me enough, so I got bored with it.
And so you just
So I would just, I mean, I would do what I had to do in school when I get done, and I was bored.
Well, I challenged everything. My thing is, I didn't only talk, but I needed proof. Like, if we were in class, even with, like, math. Well, how do you know that 2 + 2 is 4? How come it couldn't be 9? She's like, because. But I'm serious. Think about that. Why does it have to be 4? Who decided for us that 2 + 2 is 4? Who decided for us that this board behind us is white and the erasers are black? Who decided for us? I mean, like, really, I wanted to know those things. And, they wanted to know things about me, like, can you please get up from your desk and walk to the principal's office because we're not dealing with you anymore.
Wow.
Because I was that student, for a lot of teachers, I was a challenge. But, hey, I made them better teachers because they figured out how to deal with the hard kid. But those are things that I ask, and those are things that we should ask. And I want you to begin to ask everything about your life. Why do you like the color you like? Why do you like the foods that you like? Why? Because a lot of time we told stuff, and I was just telling a guy earlier today, I was like, he was asking me why I like to eat something. And I was like, oh, well, I was told that this had good nutrients in it and that. And he was like, well, do you really like the taste? And I was like, actually, not really. It's nothing that, if I hadn't have known that, it's nothing that I probably would have gone into the store and bought.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And so with even looking at that, my food patterns, all my habits and stuff like that, it's like, where do they come from? And a lot of it do come from home and friends, and we pick them up. Because you and I pick up a lot of each other habits. Sometimes I find myself acting like you, and I'm like,
hey, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing if it's supposed to be connected to me, though.
Yeah.
And then I find myself like,
yeah, because I do a lot of things like you do. Because, I find I'm a lot like my mom.
You are.
And
you are a lot like her.
Like, everything has its place. Like, my mom was so organized and so
and I like
clean.
That. Yes.
Like, you could eat off her floors. And
I'm literally
not joking.
And I like that.
Like, she would iron her sheets, her bed sheets, and things of that nature. And I'm not that bad.
I'm that bad.
I'm not that bad.
I am that bad. I think her mom put those things in me, but I'm that bad.
But I'm clean. I'm not spotless clean, but I'm clean. And everything has its place and its purpose, and it has, because, if you know where things are at, and you put them where they belong, then you know where they're at, and, you ain't got to go searching everywhere for them and stuff, and, it's organized, and it's, and it's clean, that's just how my mom was, and that's how I grew up, and, when I grew up, you didn't sit on the bed because the bed was made to sleep in, not to sit on.
Right.
And you didn't eat in the living room. You ate at the kitchen table with the family. Like, you sat at the kitchen table together as a family. But when I grew up, you didn't talk whenever.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
That's why I got in trouble.
But when you sat down at the table to eat, you didn't talk, you ate. And then you got up and then you talked. But I changed that when, excuse me, sinuses and this weather changing.
Not corona. And if it was, you can't get it through the video. At least I don't think.
Yeah, the weather is changing and it's just got my sinus and allergies, all kinds of, oof. But anyway. But I changed that when I got my own family because at the time, the only time that we could get together, everybody together at one time, was at the dinner table. Because the kids were in school and, the dad worked, I worked, and, so the only time we all could get together was at the dinner table. So that's when we all talked about our day and this and that and the other and stuff. So, yeah. But when I was growing up, we weren't allowed to talk. And you ate what she cooked, or you didn't eat.
Right.
If you didn't like
and
it,
that's where it came from.
And you didn't complain about it either.
No.
You ate what was put on your plate, or...
I just chose everybody's house that their parents cooked what I like, and I asked if I could come over. And I pushed my way to their house. I was like, what are you guys eating tonight? And they tell me, oh, I like that. Of course, I'd be like, and they look at me like, do you perhaps want to come over to eat? Oh, why would you say that? I didn't want to intrude. But I'm like you, yeah, because I'm not with eating all that stuff anymore. But I ate it because I had to. So I took on that character, and it's actually stuff that would put weight on me. The stuff I didn't like put weight on me. So I steer away from it now. But it just goes back to what we're saying, that these things make up who we are being, and not who we were called to be. Yeah. It's just so much so. It really is. But no, the cleanliness thing, I like that. She's not dirty.
No.
I'm the clean one, but I can't cook. Now she can cook.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, she's preparing to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
But she can cook.
I love to cook.
And I hate it.
Oh,
I hate
love it.
I tell her what I want. I give her ideas for recipes. Say, hey, try that for me so I can taste it.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm the clean one. She's the cook, you know. And it works perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have to worry about me coming over to her house, getting in all her stuff. And no, she's the cook. And I'm clean. I'm the one that literally, like, you walk through my door. From the moment you walk through my door, I'm instructing you, don't put that there. Oh, there's a piece of lint on your clothes. Could you get back outside and get the lint off? Because I don't want it on my floor.
Yeah.
I know that's probably a bit much, but.
That's how she is, though.
Yeah.
But it's her house, so she has a right to have it that way.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like me, when in my house, if I have carpet, then you have to take your shoes off when you come in because I don't want you tracking on my carpet. Because if you walk on your carpet with your shoes, then it wears
disgusting.
But you track all that, and you track all that in on your carpets, and everywhere you've walked, you're walking that in on your carpets, and it's not good. But 2, you're wearing your carpet down.
Yeah.
And stuff. But
I hate carpet though.
Really?
No,
well, I don't mind it in the bedroom because I don't want to step out of the bed into a cold floor, but still.
Yeah.
But
we are who we are. Yep. But we've learned to be this is authentic with each other as we get. I mean, if you were behind the scene, you would see some stuff and you'd be like, oh no. But I'm telling you, who we are behind this camera, we're not, this is not a facade. We're not. I tell them when we're doing the talk show, the television talk show, or when we do the magazine, we're not trying to be perfect. You'll see something out of place in my hair or on my clothing. And I'm okay with that because I'm not trying to impress somebody. I want you to get what we're talking about. The topics, that's what's important to me. I don't want no one else to go through life being someone they were not called to be. I want you to be free to be who you're called to be. You got so much to bring to the table. When I don't know something, I go to her. She doesn't know it. The first thing she'll do, I know her. She'll say, well, let's go find out. And I like that because we're not trying to just create something out of the air just because we don't know it. Oh, they know. No, well, let's just make up our own thing. No, we find out about it. We look for those people who it is in their industry. Like, she doesn't have to worry about me calling her and ask her, hey, how do I cook a turkey? Because I'm not doing that.
No, she'll call me and tell me to cook it.
Oh, weird. And she'll call me and say, hey, there's this great cleaning supply. I think it just be A-okay for you. And I'm like, okay, let me go get it. I literally am the one that goes into the store and I do have to sample everything. So I don't like anything in the store, so I create my own cleaning supplies. So I'm like, and she'll try them out and say, that's good. That's a good idea.
Yep.
And so that's what I like about our friendship. And moving through life, I want you to find those friends that you can be yourself with no matter what. She doesn't have to worry about me selling her information to the paparazzi, and I don't either. It's too much. The paparazzi probably wouldn't want to hear our stories because it'd be too much for them to handle if they really know some stuff. And you've probably heard us talk about it, but still.
Everybody needs to have at least one friend or one person in their life outside of somebody in their family that they can go to and turn to and tell them anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And not be judged or looked down upon for
and
it.
Not hear it from somebody else in the street. And that is very important to us. You should not be heard. It really should.
And you shouldn't have to turn yourself inside outwards or twist yourself or turn yourself into somebody that you're not to please them.
That's true.
And I haven't had to do that for her, and she hasn't had to do it for me.
Oh, absolutely not. Sometimes she gets... Now, I will say, she has to get on to me sometime. Well, you shouldn't say that. I'm like, why? Can't I just say that? And she's like, no, you can't. You cannot say that. And I'm like, okay. So we do correct each other, and nothing's ever said about it. We were talking about, a week or so ago, and we realized we really have never had a fight.
Oh, yeah. Well, no.
We had a disagreement.
We had a disagreement once.
And it was about, what was it about?
Whenever Mike come home from his deployment from Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she hung the phone up on me. I was like, when does a girl hang the phone up on her friend for a boyfriend?
Yeah.
But then I went over her house and it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went over there like, what? It took me 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah, she was mad. I hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
I apologized.
But then I get there and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was okay.
Yeah.
So that was about the only thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that's a good thing because we
Yeah.
needed that, because the thing that I noticed, and even now thinking about it, we didn't stay, it was mad for a second, and then we were just like, okay, yeah, we talked about it and it was over. That
Yeah.
could have really went sour.
Yep. If we let it.
It really could have. So see, because of our unique personalities and the fact that we've learned to deal with each other on things, it's like, wow. And I'm not saying that we don't disagree. There is just,
I mean,
we disagree on a
about
lot of things. We really do. We do.
Yeah.
We disagree about a lot of things, and we laugh about them. We can laugh about them. And so, but the thing is, I think it works perfect because we don't hide it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we don't tiptoe around each other. No, we be like, no, we need to talk about this because I just really don't like this.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, well, I don't like this. And we're like, okay, let's go eat.
Yeah.
You know, let's go eat or something. And then it's done. And so that's unique and that's bold and that's living, because we can't go through life just ditching people because they don't agree with us.
Yeah.
And then the fact that, and yes, I'm going to touch that, the fact that you're black and I'm white, or you're white and I'm black, whatever. You guys decide. But the point is, that has never been an issue with us. Never been an issue. Not even with our families for each other. It's just like, her mom is my mom, my mom is her mom. And it's like
I've been to her family reunions and her family has accepted me with open arms.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm family to them, you know. And her mom accepts my kids as her grandkids and my grandson as her great grandson. I mean, when she buys for her great grandkids, she buys for my grandson. I mean, she does. They don't treat my kids and my grandkid, because I only have one, but they don't have no difference. They don't treat no different. They don't nothing. So we're family.
Yes, and that's how her mom was with me. It was like her mom, her sisters. It was like, wow, it's like they don't.
Family, and that's how it should be.
Wow, and I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the same thing. It's just in her sister, and oh my God. And when my grandson was born, I was here in Texas, and my daughter was still in Tennessee, and so her mother and her was helping my daughter and showing her how to help with her son. My mother was there too, so she had three moms there. She had her and her mother, and she had my mom. So she got some good stuff.
Yeah.
She got some good stuff.
Yeah.
So be yourself. Let those things come out, because in being yourself, you can only have this type of relationship if you're yourself.
And if you're turning yourself into something that you're not for somebody else, you're not yourself.
It's true.
And you're not being true to you. You're not being true to them or anybody else, because, you know, you hear people talk about, well, they fake. Well, you're being fake. You're being fake to yourself and to everybody else around you. You know, you want people to accept you. If they can't accept you for who you are, then you don't need them.
That's right. And I'm so glad you guys joined us today. And we're going to start video recording more of these. But don't forget to watch the television talk show on FMD Global TV. And continue to listen to our weekly podcast. Continue to read our magazine. Our magazine is coming out. It only comes out a couple of times a year. So we're working on that now. Got some exciting news about all of that for you. We love you guys. And we are here for you. Continue to send in your emails, text messages. We want to hear from you. Be yourself. Thank you.